From space, Greenland looks silent and insignificant. For decades, it was dismissed as ice and nothing more. That assumption is now collapsing. Because Greenland sits at the center of the Arctic power shift, control Greenland, and you control future trade routes, critical minerals, and military reach. That's why the world's biggest powers are no longer ignoring it. This is not just an island. It's a strategic choke point for the 21st century. For decades, Greenland was just a footnote. It appeared in maps and military documents, but it rarely made headlines. Experts thought of it as remote, stable, and frozen in time. That idea is now outdated. During the Cold War, Greenland had a clear role. Early warning. Soviet missiles heading to North America would pass over the Arctic. U.S. radar bases in Greenland bought critical extra minutes. Minutes that could decide nuclear survival. Greenland was important, but uncontested. It stayed firmly inside America's security orbit. Then, the Soviet Union collapsed. Russia withdrew its forces. Arctic bases were abandoned. The United States turned its focus elsewhere, to the Middle East, global terrorism, and worldwide operations. Greenland remained useful on paper, but quiet in practice. Denmark and Europe treated it as a governance matter. Autonomy, not strategy. The world assumed the balance of power would stay frozen. That assumption was wrong. What changed? One word: climate. The Arctic is warming twice as fast as the rest of the planet. Ice melts. New sea routes appear. Resources once locked in ice become accessible. This opens doors to enormous economic potential and inevitable geopolitical rivalry. Rare earth elements are a prime example. These minerals are essential for smartphones, electric vehicles, and military tech. Greenland has huge reserves, up to 11% of global supply. Controlling them means controlling critical supply chains. China watches Greenland closely. Its interest is economic, but the stakes are strategic. It is not just ice and snow. It is about controlling the future of technology. The late 2000s marked Russia's return to the Arctic. Moscow rebuilt its northern defenses. Modern airfields, advanced air defenses, reinforced Northern Fleet. Not for invasion, but to protect second strike nuclear capability. The Arctic became Russia's security buffer against NATO. Greenland sits near that buffer, a potential choke point. Russia also controls Arctic trade routes. The Northern Sea Route along its coast can cut Asia-Europe shipping times by 40%. Russia requires permits, pilots, and fees. This gives it leverage over global commerce. And then came China, ambitious and patient. China is not Arctic by geography, but by ambition. Beijing builds a global network of resources, logistics hubs, and corridors. The Arctic fits perfectly. China invests in Greenland, mining rare earths, lithium and cobalt, infrastructure, fishing, and ports. Officially, China claims peaceful intentions. It respects Greenland's self-rule. It says U.S. concerns are exaggerated. But behind the scenes, China watches. It avoids confrontation, but monitors tensions closely. It looks for opportunities if U.S.-Europe relations weaken. One day, today's peaceful ports could become tomorrow's strategic assets. Washington sees Greenland as critical, not for today's deals, but tomorrow's leverage. By gaining more control through bases, investments, or even past purchase discussions, the U.S. aims to block rival dominance. Greenland helps prevent rivals from threatening North America or controlling global trade. The U.S. views China as the long-term Arctic threat. bigger than Russia's military buildup. This is no invasion story. It is about influence, positioning, and preparation. Denmark prioritizes Greenland's sovereignty and stability. No immediate Russian or Chinese military threat is visible. The European Union supports Denmark's stance. Autonomy and NATO unity remain key. But Europe worries. Chinese investments could create dependencies. This might strain Denmark-Greenland relations. Greenland's independence is a wild card. Full autonomy could invite more external influence. The United Kingdom aligns with U.S. concerns. It calls for NATO exercises, troops, and monitoring in the Arctic. The Baltic states see Russia as the main threat. They push for radars, military drills, and barriers to protect Greenland. The Arctic is not frozen. Geopolitics are melting fast. Norway controls Svalbard, a key Arctic archipelago. It is governed by a 1920 treaty. Norway has sovereignty, but the treaty mandates demilitarization. Over 40 countries, including Russia and China, have equal economic rights. Disputes flare over fishing, resources, and military presence. Russia accuses Norway of creeping militarization. The EU has conflicts over quotas and trade. Svalbard shows the Arctic dilemma: sovereignty versus shared access. Melting ice makes stakes higher. Tensions here can ripple to Greenland. One small island can influence global power, and Greenland is next. Greenland is hot, not because of invasion, but because major powers cannot ignore it. Russia protects its roots and buffers. China pursues economic leverage. The US moves to contain both. Europe balances alliance and autonomy. Norway's Svalbard shows how fragile the Arctic system is. This is modern geopolitics. Quiet preparation before open conflict. Bases upgrade. Investments lock in influence. Stories shape perception. Greenland is already in that process. Next comes rivalry over access, sway, and Arctic rules. The consequences could affect everyone. In Part 2, we will explore Greenland through the U.S. military lens. Time, distance, and survival. How bases, radar systems, and logistics could change the balance of power. Don't miss it, because the Arctic is no longer quiet.